How about now?
You sound like Jeff.
Yeah.
Sound like Daddy-O.
Can you hear? Does it sound like I'm in my furnace?
No.
Really?
Nope.
No.
That's cool.
All right.
All right, go.
We'll just delete your audio track later, and
Yep.
we don't have to worry about it.
3, 2, 1.
You're not supposed to say one. Like, that's the thing. You're supposed to go silent on the one, and then then you start.
Welcome to Show Boys. We're here. It's another Thursday. I'm really excited about the topic tonight. It may or may not be like an hour past our normal recording time, but that is rather
Your
here
fault.
nor there. But yes, we're here, excited. We're going to be talking about the first of hopefully multiple seasons of Monarch: Legacy of Monsters.
10 seasons.
Apple
Wow.
TV Plus. We're going to go through our thoughts and kind of review season 1. But before we do that, I'm joined here with my two good friends and fellow hosts, Pixel Nick and Dad. How you guys doing tonight, Nick?
I'm
I
doing
want
good.
you to
I'm
answer
doing
for
great.
both you and Jeff.
You're-
the way I
Yeah.
phrased that.
I'm doing
You're
great.
more than
Dad's doing good. He took his mic from outside of the pillow, and it's now in front of his face. But I'm good. I'm good. Had a very exciting Lego week. My castle came, and I've been just addicted to Lego Valheim. Actual Lego Valheim, not Lego
Yeah,
Fortnite.
literal Lego Valheim.
Literal. Dad, how are you?
I mean, I'm good, just like you said. No longer suffocating under a pillow, which is always good.
Any
I'm
other
good, just
updates?
like you said.
Just slaving away.
Yeah, my workload has exploded. A lot of
Dang
work on my plate.
Pokemon.
Yep.
Which
Hey,
I-
season 3 is
cool-
over, by the way.
Cool update about it. Working on the final battle, which is really fun.
Yes.
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 Yeah, so look for that.
Yeah,
will be coming out
Friday. From the date of this video, this coming Friday will be the season finale of season 3. Pokeboys. We covered Pokemon Bushido. It's been real fun. I always love the seasons of Pokemon or Pokeboys. But man, when we get to the end of the season, I'm also like so excited to have a break because we do take some time in between Pokeboy seasons. And adding a full slate of another podcast on the plate, while super fun to do, and I really enjoy it, kind of makes life a little hectic. So
That's how I felt when we did Companion series.
yeah, like super fun while you're doing it, but then towards the end, you're like, okay, I could
All right,
use like
needs to be
some
over.
free time.
Use my Sunday evenings back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I also say that the Pokemon Showdown is a lot of fun?
Yeah.
Just like a totally different spin on the Pokemon universe, which
Spin.
I am trying to drag my kids into playing it with me because it's so much fun.
Yeah, Pokemon Showdown's cool. But yeah, check that out. But tonight we're talking about Godzilla, which I'm so
No, we're
excited.
not.
I'm so excited. I mean, he's literally in this show.
Oh, okay.
It's literally about him.
It
Kinda.
is about him, kind of.
Roughly.
Loosely. It's
like-
about his world.
Like a quarter of the show is about him.
Yeah, it's Godzilla's world. We're just all living in it.
Godzilla.
But yeah, before we do that, thank you to our top tier patrons, Tim B, Yusuf H, and all of our other lovely patrons. You guys rule. We
love
appreciate
you.
your support. Yeah, you help keep the lights on around here and help us be able to continue to make content for you guys.
You
If
help
you're
some of us.
interested- What?
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 I was gonna say you help some of us move to very
Yes.
nice places.
Yes, exactly.
With lots
Thank
of
you.
lights. Like, it looks like you're lit over there. You got every light
He
on,
is
or is it just one
super
really
No,
big
lit.
I
light?
actually have only one light on, and then like
That's
a
ridiculous.
Google Chrome screen that does not have dark mode on this website.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyways,
Wow.
thank you guys. If you're interested in learning how you can financially support the podcast or what we offer on our Patreon, head over to patreon.com/showboyspodcast.
Do
All right.
it.
I got to get the elephant out of the bag, or however that saying goes. Dad,
Sure. Yeah.
did you
I-
finish Monarch Legacy of Monsters?
I did. Yes, I
All
actually
right.
did.
Dude, this is going to be a great episode then.
Maybe.
All right, so you know how it goes. So we'll go with our just overall thoughts. Nick, just overall spoiler-free reaction to season 1. How were you enjoying it? What'd you think?
I thought it was great. I really liked it. And every time I watch a MonsterVerse Godzilla, I think the MonsterVerse is something else. This is like Godzilla.
When you say
Kongverse.
MonsterVerse, but I think of like the Universal Studios, like Dracula and Werewolf.
Correct.
So not
They definitely need a new name.
Do they call that this? Do they call this that too?
I think they call the Godzilla verse the
too.
MonsterVerse.
Yeah, that's because I always think about that too. I think about both when I say them. So there's always context clues, so you know what I'm talking about. But no, yeah, I liked it a lot. And every time I watch a Godzilla and or Kong thing, it makes me realize how much I want to watch more of them or rewatch them again. So I think really easily they're like passable content where they're just like monster, big creature doomsday thrillers. But how much detail they bake into like the other stories that are going on is so cool. And how they're kind of weaving things together. So I would always appreciate that. And they do that very well in this. Not without its issues, but I am a big fan.
Yeah. Dad, first, how did you like the show? And second, how many pieces of the we'll call it the Monarch verse? No, that still doesn't sound great. But how many of the other pieces of the Godzilla universe have you watched? I believe it's Kong Skull Island, the 2014 Godzilla King of the Monsters, and then Godzilla vs. Kong, and then now this show.
So I enjoyed the show. It was good. A lot of different things really piqued my interest in the beginning. A lot of the graphics were gorgeous. The acting, we can get into that later, but I had some issues with some of the actresses. As far as what I've seen before, not many. I think I enjoyed Kong the most because I feel like.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant in this show. No
spoilers.
No.
No. Out of movie.
It really took a while for you then.
Never mind. Out of the movies, yeah, I like Kong, but that's only because I feel like they made so many freaking Godzilla movies that I was just like over it. Like, it kind of went downhill for me after the first one,
Man, 2014 Godzilla was awesome.
Hollywood kind of butchered it, as they do with most things nowadays. But no, this was really, really good.
Interesting.
Spoiler free.
Interesting.
Are we doing a rating scale on this?
Well, we'll get to that later. We'll see where
you're just gonna like throw it at us. Here, do this.
4 spaghetti noodles out of 17. No, I really enjoyed this, and I am a huge fan of this like little cinematic universe they're building here.
Little.
I love these movies, like the kaiju stuff, the giant like creature flicks, like give me all of them. They're to use a phrase that we love using around here, just very fun movies. And it's just they're the kind of movies you go to, and I don't expect really anything out of them other than like I just want to see a giant epic looking CGI like nuclear lizard
Spider?
fight like another giant awesome looking CGI creature. Whatever else happens, like as long as it's not like atrocious, I'm cool with. And surprisingly, the 2014 Godzilla with Bryan Cranston was really cool. I didn't watch Kong until I think like last summer, actually. So it'd been quite a while, but 2014 Godzilla was great. King of the Monsters was great. Nick and I went and saw Godzilla vs. Kong in theaters
Aw.
together. It was a fun little showboys date, you know.
back.
Great. Yeah, sign me up. And this show was really cool because it's focused more. Well, I don't know if that's even correct to say because there was a good amount of Titans in the series as a whole, but like seeing it more like to the human aspect and the Monarch side of things, it's really interesting. Yeah, spoiler free. Thought it was really fun, really awesome. I'm
So
really glad it's over.
I just stumbled upon something. How much of these movies are connected to this show?
All of them.
All of them.
Oh, okay. I did not know. Because I was looking at Kong Skull Island
Yeah.
and Randa's in it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Mr. Goodman.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Good old John.
Yeah,
That
no,
was
all
fun.
this is what the fifth entry of this lineup.
I believe so. But they did an excellent job like looping in everything else. Either directly with like actual footage and flashbacks and all that fun stuff, or with very strong references to the future.
Yeah, so I guess right now we're gonna go into spoiler territory. So if you have not watched the entire series, don't want to be spoiled,
Come
here's
back
your warning.
later.
But yeah, so like exactly like you said, Nick, that's what I really appreciated about this series is it does such an awesome job at referencing everything, all four previous entries. On the timeline, this show takes place between Godzilla and Godzilla King of the Monsters. So Godzilla, the 2014 movie, that is the attack on San Francisco that they keep flashing back to with Kate. And what they're foreshadowing at Monarch with all of the gamma ray readings towards the end of the season is the emergence of all of the Titans that come up in Godzilla King of the Monsters. So they do a really great like balancing act of paying homage to both of those movies at the same time while they're like nestled like nice in between there. And all of the Hollow Earth like portal hole things that's all Godzilla versus Kong. So like
That's cool.
It's everything that they did in this was like just woven I think perfectly into all of the movies that have come out so far. And even back to Kong Skull Island, with like the very opening of the season with Randa running through the island with the camera and all that stuff. Yeah, it's just I think they just did a terrific job of like referencing everything.
Yeah, and the referencing everything, but also like very seamlessly telling two timelines, two stories, and how those intersect really wonderfully. I think wasn't necessary, but they did a really good job. I mean, not that it wasn't necessary. They didn't need to go that far with this show, but they decided to. And I really liked the the early Monarch setting up with Bill, Kate, and Shaw.
Lee. Yeah.
Good old Lee. And that's my other favorite thing too. And they did it like really early on, was the fade between Kurt Russell and his son Wyatt Russell. I was just like, that's awesome. I was like, there
I
are
didn't even
mannerisms.
realize. Didn't even
Yeah.
realize that that was father son.
I didn't
That's so
realize
cool.
it either.
There are, like, obviously they're both good actors, but there is like a blood like instinct of like just being related in how
Mhm.
they have the same mannerisms. Like that just connects it so much better that they are
It's
actually
perfect.
father and son. It's insane.
Yeah.
But that was really, really nice bonus to this.
Yeah, and just like brilliant casting, because
Oh yeah.
obviously, like those things you're talking about carry over from like young Lee to old man Shaw. Like it's just awesome. It's not like they had to really do anything, because that's just literally
It's just him.
young Kurt Russell.
Yeah. Literally.
I was glad to see Wyatt Russell in a role that kind of redeemed him from the last role I saw him in. Because I did not like Falcon and Winter Soldier. Did not like him in that at all. Then I'm like, this dude looks familiar. And then it clicked, and I'm like, wow, I really like this actor. Like the way he became this person. It was great. He convinced me.
Nice.
Speaking of actors, like sleeper character in this whole show, not really, but like kinda, is like Tim.
Yes,
Tim was awesome.
Like he's great.
At the end, I did not like him leading like most of it, but then he kind of like broke this part of himself and became.
I mean,
real.
I think he did a good job even at the beginning of being like the eccentric like dude in the basement who just works for like the shitty organization. And like, you know, I really liked the way that all started with him like trying to kidnap Kate, but not really kidnap Kate. But he's like, you're not in
Like,
trouble yet.
Passive aggressively, like, yeah, I'm gonna come after you, but whatever.
I'm gonna follow you
No,
and
I'm
not
gonna follow
leave you
you.
alone. But I'm not creepy. I'm not. It's not like
I'm
that.
not creepy. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna kill you.
I think it's like a pretty cool character, but I thought he was just like very well acted.
Yes.
Like Joe Tippett, the actor who played Tim. Yeah, he's just he was awesome, and like in moments like really funny. But also like his arc was very interesting, right? Because I think like in his heart he's trying to do like what he thinks is right, and like he has good motives, right? He's trying to both solve the big picture problem while also like solving the human problem of like the three people, for instance, that are in the what do they call it? It's not the Hollow Earth, it's the place
down.
in between. Like that shoot, what's her name?
Yeah.
Keiko like gave it a name in like the last episode or two. The Apex something or other.
She named it, right?
Yeah, she named it. I forget exactly what it is. Anyways, like he wants to save, our trio or quad of people, but also in doing that knows that they will have the information to help solve the big picture problem that Monarch's trying to solve. But that turn in the last like few moments of the finale, Apex is not a good company. Like that's spoiler alert, Jeff. Those are the villains in Godzilla vs. Kong.
Oh, okay.
If you couldn't tell that they were kind of shady, villainous organization or not.
With the best director. Go ahead.
I had a feeling that what's her face's boss, who she was running away from,
May's boss, Brenda.
Yeah, May's boss, Brenda. I knew she was bad news.
Dominique from the Expanse.
Yeah, shout out The Expanse. That's the third time that I've talked about The Expanse in the last like 24 hours.
That's right. Oh, it's so good.
Anyways. Yeah, I knew she wasn't done. Like I knew she was going to come back for something.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting they were working like just for like a tech company in the first half of that episode, and like the first episode she shows up in. But I was really glad that they just flashed up Apex like on the monitors, the ghost parent company.
And I knew it was important. I didn't know. So like oh no, they changed their name.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
suspenseful.
Even before they did the name reveal, which makes it blatantly obvious what they're referencing from the Godzilla vs. Kong movie. If that wasn't obvious enough, what May stumbles on in like the lower levels of the building with, the experiments on the animals and stuff and the cybernetic thing, I'm like, oh, dude, that's exactly what happened in Godzilla vs. Kong. That's rad. And then they do the whole like name reveal, and I'm like, haha. I mean, I already knew it, but thank you for making it concrete.
And this show didn't have an abundance of like gotchas or like surprises for me. Like a lot of stuff I could see coming because I've seen all the other movies. So like I was piecing it together along the way, and they do a decent job at making it obvious. But it was really fun to see those things like just show up. Like, yes, I had an idea that she was probably like, ooh, big tech company wants all the dirt on like the monsters, must be Apex. I know where this is going, and happened a number of other times, but it's just fun to see it play out. And that's the other thing about these types of movies is, yeah, there's no like surprising like hidden plot points, and it's not like but I like to see these things as they are.
Just do it well. Like, not everything has to be a surprise. Sometimes it's just surprising that these things are done in a good like excellent manner,
And it's not like we got watered down Titans. Like we got actual Godzilla multiple times, like actual non-watered down Godzilla.
Very expensive CGI Godzilla. Like they did not cut any corners. Because I feel like sometimes with these connected universe properties, right? Maybe they try to like shoehorn things in just to be like, oh, do you see that reference to that thing that's part of this universe? But everything that was tied into the show was like central to the plot of this show, and like was there for a reason and made sense and was tied in like in a good way, like quality wise. It was refreshing because again, this genre, doesn't have exactly the greatest like track record of like excellent cinema. So to see him just do something good and like be very coherent in what they're trying to do was like a breath of fresh air,
I thought the story they were telling was awesome. I love the parallel stories. You had the flashbacks and the current. I found myself like in love with Shaw and Kiko and
Miranda.
Yeah. Like
in
the past,
the 50s, the 40s, 50s timeline.
I love that whole like their dynamic with each other and just
good vibes.
All the good vibes and all the like the subtleties of being in the service in the military and what that was like then. Oh, she's a woman, she's Japanese.
Big no-no in the 50s.
Right. But yeah, I was like really pulled into that part of the story. And I freaking loved when they went to whatever it was called and she was there. I'm like, yes.
Oh yeah.
It was very
Man, okay.
I did
love
not
it.
expect. That
No,
was the one
same.
that got me.
I wanted to believe that she was still alive. I'm like, she's got to be alive, because I don't know where she is, but she's got to be around somewhere. Like, she just has to be alive. Like, they're just building up all this stuff for her to just be gone. And the same with the dad. Like, he's got to show up too. And, they both did, obviously. And yeah, go ahead.
No, I definitely want to talk about like Keiko and we really need to look up what that part of the Hollow Earth is called, because we're going to talk about it a lot and I cannot think of what it's called. We'll talk about that very soon. But your comments on
Axis
the trio, Axis Mundi, not Apex, Axis Mundi. Yeah. Kind of the world between worlds.
Yeah.
Which I think is foreshadowing the new movie coming out this year.
Yeah.
But the trio of young Lee, Keiko, and young Randa,
So good.
and just seeing like the creation and like growth of Monarch from like literally just Keiko and Lee being assigned to like escort her to like them finding Randa in the woods and basically being like Jordan Hoffey. It's out there monster hunting in the woods.
Yeah, that sounds
with
about
all
right.
this crazy like cultural like folklore stories, like sending him
Like,
on these monster hunts
way out there. Like, yeah, got some blurry pictures, but yeah, it was real. I saw it.
Right. But like their relationship as like a trio of friends and maybe more, alongside the growth and development of what Monarch started as and what they eventually became, how they're linked to the military, and like that was just a really cool aspect of the show. And I want to say the last show that did like the multiple timelines running at the same time was maybe Resident Evil on Netflix, and that show like sucked so bad. And when I saw this was kind of doing the same like dual timeline storytelling thing, I was like kind of nervous about this because
I think how this is done well is that there's obviously a main timeline, and that's the present day. Well, 2015, granted, the movies are more far along, but the 2015 timeline is the primary one. More characters, more focus there. But obviously, the secondary timeline back in the 50s, incredibly well casted, well acted. The aesthetic is wonderful, and it's very focused on like them, plus maybe like the general and a few other military people. Other than that,
one
it's
general,
like the
by the
trio.
way,
Awesome.
I think he had like
Puckett?
a small role in Peacemaker.
Are you talking about
yeah,
Puckett, the main guy
Puckett.
that he was?
Yeah, good old Puck. But go ahead, continue. Sorry,
No, it just worked really well because it was solely set on like three very strong characters and a very specific part of the show to give you that background detail. It wasn't like they were telling like an expansive like secondary story.
Yeah,
so I think that's why it works so well.
It kind of wasn't even a secondary story because Keiko shows up in like the current time as like the old timeline secondary story. Keiko, like it's not her older, it's her. She literally is transplanted from
what
which is so cool.
How long did she say she was down there? Like
57 days.
57
so
days.
By her estimate, it's 57 days, but I'm pretty sure it's a direct 1-to-1. 1 day is 1 year. So like that's her estimate, because that puts them down there at 2 days, and 2 years went by.
Were they down there that long?
In Shaw, it's tricky because they showed us present day, but really 2 years was going by, and you notice that because Tim's leg wasn't hurt by time he in the next scene. I was like, whoa, he just flew to Japan and his leg doesn't hurt anymore. Then I was like, wait, never mind.
Same with Kentaro, like all of his wounds are healed.
Yeah. So they're
But
showing
yeah,
it there.
and they do like a really, with Tim specifically, when they show him walking into Monarch, like the shot is literally on his like hip.
Yeah.
And they're showing him walk in from his leg and hand on a cane, you know?
Yeah.
So they were like very intentional to be like, pay attention. This guy's leg is better now.
Yeah. And he just comes strolling in to Japan in the whiskey bar.
Yeah.
But Shaw was tricky because he was the only one with like a guesstimate, and his was weird because I was like, I could have swore it, the way they presented it, it was like he was there for like a day, but he said he was there for like a week later on.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
13 years went by between when he went down there and when he came back. So it was 82. It went from 59 to 82. So he was down there for like 13
Yeah.
days. So I'm pretty sure it's like a 1 year to 1 day thing.
Hmm.
Because then for her, it was like 52 years or something. And her guess was 57. So I thought that was really good how they kind of made that all work. At first, I was worried because I was like, a lot of like they seem to be down here for a long time, like a lot of time slipping by, messing around.
Yeah, I honestly the time, I don't want to call it traveling, but time warping, I did not see coming, like at all.
Time distortion.
Time distortion. There you go.
Yeah.
That part did catch me off guard, and I thought it was actually like really, really cool.
Well, I first questioned it when they said that older Shaw should have been like in his 90s.
Yeah, May was
I'm
like,
like,
does that
yeah.
make you like 90? He's like, whatever.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, they brought it up early, but I was like, where are they going with this? Like,
Right.
I didn't know what they were going to do with it.
It was a good payoff.
Yeah. And it just like, I mean, Shaw did not make it out, but that doesn't mean that he won't make it out at some point, which is cool because that means Kurt Russell can still be in the movie universe, you know, along with the actress who played Keiko, because now she's in like current time. So
yeah,
it's kind of like a clever way to be able to use your actor assets too, with a giant age disparity when you're doing dual timelines like this. So, but
man, yeah.
So
here's what I didn't like.
what didn't you like?
Episode 5 was
Okay.
like annoying.
Elaborate.
So the whole go to Alaska thing, right? Like, okay, when we're in this rinky-dink plane, we're just kind of like spitballing, eyeballing like where we're going here, and they happen to land the plane on a freaking glacier, whatever, within like just like
5
pop
feet
your head
of,
around the
of
hill and be like,
heroes.
oh look, there's the plane. I'm like, no. Too much convenience. I get it. They got a story to tell, but there's a few of those moments for sure where I'm just like, I don't know about that. But
I'll tell you what I did like was when Kentaro and the group, they were hunting down their dad in the red zone, and they get to his office, and Kentaro figures out the map with the holes in the
lighting
paper.
thing. Yeah,
so
I thought that was really cool. And then what I thought was even better was when Tim comes in and has his whole Columbo bit with what's her face, and I thought that was pretty cool. Like I kind of saw that coming with him, but I still thought it was cool. That was probably his turning point, like my turning point in liking him a little bit more. Yeah, that was fun. It's a little clever cinematic stuff.
yeah, and I'm on the fence like about May the whole time, though I do like how they did set her up to be like, the classic like double agent, right? Going to betray your friends because you want to get out. I really did enjoy that she did that, but then she got like spun around in that because the chick that promised her like to get out was like, yeah, I'm flipping sides too. So now thanks for telling me, we're gonna roll with Shaw now. And she's like right back in it.
Yeah.
So like May, I like how was this character, a very fleety character that just can't get away no matter what she does. So I really like that she's just kind of along for the ride. But then outside of that, like she doesn't really have much motive or like impact on much. Because everything just kind of happens around her. So she's probably like in my mind definitely the weakest character, though started off very cool.
She's not.
What did she do for the past like 5 episodes? She was good for the first 5, and then literally just has been trying to do nothing for the next 5, other than get with Kate. Like that's all that's happening.
Who is equally as weak.
I honestly, I think all 3 of the current timeline trio like suck.
The worst part of the show.
Like, okay, I understand the Randa kids like hating their dad, but the episode that like everyone knows how I feel about angst. Okay, the one that just put it over the top. When they're in their desert and Godzilla literally like just wakes up, and Kentaro's like, "Oh, I can't believe our dad just ran away from us again." It's like, oh, I don't know. Did you just not see Godzilla like appear out of the sand? Like, what did you want him to do? Just like kick Godzilla in the shin for you? Like,
Bud,
he's gonna run.
You're standing on a hill. The hill was at the base of Godzilla.
Exploded. Like,
you were standing on Godzilla's nap zone.
And they got like destroyed when he was getting up. They were just rolling, tumbling down the hill. Like
they should have died.
They should have died with the car, like just barely jumping over them.
Yeah. I was like, okay, like just go suck an egg, kids. Like
the random kids have way too much plot armor for sure.
Yeah. I do love how Tim though like emerges from the sand at the beginning of the next episode exactly like Godzilla did. Except it was just Tim.
Is that the part where he's like, what the? And then
not having a good day. Yeah, the airport. He's like, yeah.
Dude, that interaction at the airport was fun. Like, and I think that's when he started to turn around a little bit more too. That was good.
But Mike, you make a good point. Like Tim has like all the other characters, and this is what makes them like good characters. They have like appropriate reactions to things. Yeah. I get that the Randa kids are dealing with like not having a father their whole life, finding out that they're related, that their dad cheated on their mothers. Like, I get all that. Don't get me wrong.
Their dad's like a terrible person.
Scum.
I get that.
Worst dad of the year. But like you said, hello, Godzilla, right? Like, let's not be impressed by that to start. You've already done some incredible feats by that point. Like, I feel like you're very invested in this epic story you're part in, but are easily kind of like derailed by some angst for the sake of angst. Like, I'm just gonna be mad at like something. And that's where it really takes it out, because it's like Kentaro's cool, but then he's like really not cool. Kate's mostly just not cool.
Yeah, Kate she's kind of just really sucks and is gay. Like, that's her purpose in this show.
Overacting,
She like,
I feel like Opus
like,
is going to clip that,
angsty.
By the way. I'm just going to put that out there. Opus is going to clip that one.
She's super angsty, like the rest of the trio and her brother. But then her, like, redemption moments are really just, like, these odd, like, we must keep going. Or, like, these weird, like, hopeful, like, spits.
The most random heel turns in, like, cinema history that don't make sense. Because then everything else in the entire series, except for like 2 conversations and 2 different episodes, she's basically is like, I hate this. I don't want to do this. And then all of a sudden she's like, we have to.
We have to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
Or like when she meets her grandmother, she's aware that that's her grandmother, but instead like has a panic attack. It's like, we must turn back and find my friend. Like, chill. Like, I understand you're panicked and like it's a little weird what just is going on, but I don't know. Like, at some point in the story, like, you've already like fought a Titan up in Alaska, you crashed a plane, like,
Yeah.
you're in it.
You've survived more
Act
than
like
you
you're
should
in it.
have.
Yeah, act like you're in it all of a sudden, Kentaro, like
I
Godzilla.
will say the conversation that Kate has with Keiko about Hiro, Kate's dad, Keiko's son,
Yes.
Hiroshi.
Hiroshi.
Hero is
Yeah, Hiro. So I was right.
getting a wing.
Just Michael, Mike, whatever. Hiroshi, Hiro. We're on a nickname basis, he and I.
Not the hero.
Not really.
No,
Not the hero of this show.
but the conversation, like she sees Keiko asking and like wanting to know about her son, obviously very emotionally distressed, and I thought it was kind of a cool moment where Kate is like essentially lying about her dad not being
Yes.
a sucky person because she knows that Keiko's kind of already on the brink of emotional collapse, and that would just be game over for her. I thought that was a cool moment, and not so much character wise, but the use of Kate as a way to squeeze in more Godzilla footage through flashbacks of San Francisco was super cool.
Yep.
Some of those scenes on the bridge were pretty gnarly.
That was cool.
She was super useful in that capacity, like getting some more Godzilla 2014 context, like for sure.
By being on camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, showing
there.
Godzilla, just being there, being present in the greatness of Godzilla yet again. The Randa kids. But granted, I did like her. For what it's worth, like her kind of like PTSD moments of the attack. Like her in the first half was much better than her in the second half. Her and May really kind of just like Kentaro kind of picked up in the second half, and then they just really just stopped writing for May and Kate. And they're like, we gotta make Kentaro a little better. And he's actually gonna be the one that kind of brings it all back together with Tim. But I don't know. Like they started off like I thought May was great. Like she was like this.
She was interesting.
She was like a hacker. Like she had this cool backstory. She obviously was hiding out in Japan. How her and Kentaro met, I thought that was all cool. But then like her and Kate like really just kind of flatline after episode 6.
I will say it was really cool early in the season seeing just how like Japan was, or I guess not just Japan, but they were in Japan, so that's the reference we got. But how society was after the post San Francisco, like all the Godzilla like signs
Godzilla warning.
And
the evac routes.
It was very, very cool to see the small details of what just walking around would like the world would be after a giant nuclear lizard attacked somewhere.
So what I can't stand about like these types of movies, not necessarily the show, but like when they have a monster, that's like the thing, right? That's what we all come to see, and then you have to put some kind of humanness to it, and it gets muddy and it's just stupid. It's just like it's just thrown in there for story. I feel like, I mean, I actually cared about these people, like the story, and both past and present. I obviously enjoyed seeing the monsters, loved seeing Godzilla, but like the story of the characters helped drive, all that other stuff. It wasn't like just thrown in there for the sake of throwing it in there for story, for plot, whatever.
You said the opposite of what the featured review on IMDb was. It's titled Monarch, Legacy of Characters You Don't Care About. It's basically somebody just complaining that there's only 20 minutes of monsters in 4 hour long episodes. I don't know. I kind of expected that out of a series because, I mean, did anyone else come to this expecting like Godzilla every episode?
Yeah, it's going to be all Godzilla, just plastered on destroying cities.
First off, that is not budget friendly. having
Correct.
like incredible CGI Titans like on air a lot, plus multiple times in a season. Not fiscally responsible. But two, I was just thinking about this. So obviously the title is Monarch Legacy of Monsters. And I think one thing that the show kind of one of the themes we're dealing with here is kind of like family trauma, you know, because obviously Hiroshi, I won't call him Hero anymore, you know. What Hiroshi's like secret double life did to the Randa kids, but also his example of family was also not great because, well, his mom kind of got taken, and then his uncle kind of got taken, and then his stepdad father figure just kind of went crazy.
Which
but so like to me, the title, now thinking about it, the show is about the legacy of Monarch, right? And but the monsters being Shaw, Randa, and Keiko, and not that they're like terrible evil people, but they kind of destroyed the lives of kind of those around them generationally. You know, the impact that their choices had.
Because they were so consumed by
caused generational damage, as you can see, you know, all the way down to Bill and Kate, or Kate and Kentaro, and it's kind of Kate and Kentaro breaking those like generational curses or afflictions or trauma or whatever you want to call it. Anyways, that's just on the spot. I was spitballing, so I don't know. Take that as you guys will. Kind of almost like, you know, The Walking Dead. Really, the title is more about the state of the survivors as opposed to the zombies of Walking Dead corpses. Could be something like that.
Big true. Yeah. I forget who said it, but it's just like, just leave them alone. Like the monsters, like stop trying to find them. Like clearly we've been here for like however many thousand years. Let's just not. And we'll be
I think it was Hiroshi, right? When Shaw isn't like returns
in the hospital.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
because I remember that conversation. I was like, valid point. Because Godzilla was just like napping until we dropped like a bomb on things, and it was like, ooh, food. I guess. Though I do want to like a close up of like Godzilla just like absorbing a nuclear bomb. Like I thought it was cool that they showed all that. By the way, like that was awesome. Like part of the flashback is when they're doing
Bikini Atoll.
Yeah, which is above Bikini Bottom, SpongeBob. Like that's a real thing. That's
why
really? Yeah, that's why it's Bikini Bottom, because it's the bottom of Bikini Atoll, and
that's awesome. I never.
They're all freaks down there because they have radiation, right? So that's what would happen to the sea life.
Now, is this like a confirmed thing, or is this like a wild fan theory that we need to have another episode on?
We might need to have an episode on it. I accept it as fact, because you don't name something Bikini Bottom
just to call it
Bikini Atoll. Like there's too much going on there.
That's awesome.
I'm sure there's
shout out to our wild like fan theory episode. That was super fun.
Yeah, but I want to see Godzilla like absorb that thing. Kind of just exploding there, like cool, and then we just like went under the water and it's like,
we didn't see what actually happened.
Like, thanks for the snack, guys.
Peace.
Did he like disappear? Because
I was happy with the amount of Godzilla that we got, because we got more Godzilla than I thought we were going to get. He just showed up when they had the little like beacon thing in the water with the crazy Japanese guy. He just like comes swimming up, like just lurking. That was a deep like trench of waterway they're in. I wasn't bought in on that quite.
Don't think about it. Just don't think about it.
Yeah,
don't think about it. It just is.
Yeah, but we got a good amount of Godzilla. I was happy with it for sure. And he's like their friend too.
Yeah.
He's like the buddy.
Godzilla's the good guy.
Yeah.
He's just trying to
Big.
go home.
He's big.
He's got to keep all the other Titans in check, you know.
It's hard being
That
alpha
fight was sweet.
at the end.
Yeah, when
Oh,
he
yeah.
was fighting that freaking winged monster. I don't know what it's called.
It's the dragon thing from like earlier on in the season when
In
they
the
find
Philippines.
the boat
Oh yeah,
out in the middle of
okay.
nowhere.
Which
That-
was also cool.
Yeah.
So cool. The
Now-
monster moments were very, very good moments. For sure.
So would that ship have gone through one of these rifts and then just like popped up in the middle of the Philippines? Is that what they were hinting at?
That was like one of my also favorite conversations is when Shaw was like, because May was like, we fell down. He's like, did we though? Like it was more like we kind of fell through, right?
Yeah.
Which is a real subtle line, but like it's very important because it's describing his experience going through these rifts. So like a lot of them appear obviously down from the surface, but you notice when they escape, like they're kind of sucked into it, and Godzilla also kind of emerges from it. So that's I think a key detail of like how that ship is. So that ship guy gets attacked in theory by a Titan. So when it had exited, it brought like it creates a vortex. So it would have brought the ship down through the water, through the vortex, and just kind of out where it showed up at. Because at first I was like, did what like fall from this? Like how did things get back?
Right.
But I'm also at the end there when Godzilla just kind of walks through the portal. So like clearly like you throw out a gamma ray bobber and you kind of fish for Titans. So like Godzilla, he's just like, oh, what's that? Like he just instantly shows up. Like he came pretty quickly. They turned that thing on and like
he was there.
he was there.
Yeah.
But he also just kind of comes strolling in. So like, does he do the same thing, just always underwater? On the surface. That's what I was trying to figure out because that boat would have been the same thing. Like a Titan would have had to like exited a portal and the boat just kind of like comes skirting out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because they haven't really showed that much in the movie, so like that's where I was kind of like new information. The whole portal thing was like new information to me, like how they work. Because they did do a lot of here's how they work, but then I was like, they don't really do that.
I don't remember if it was King of the Monsters or Godzilla vs. Kong. One of them, like, they find, like, a resting place of Godzilla under the ocean somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, almost like a shrine type thing, but he was just kind of, like, napping there, and I think they, like, recharged him with a nuke while he was just chilling down there. And like the one scientist guy had to, he like heroically sacrificed himself because he had to like take the nuke there, and then he wasn't able to get out. And it just, do you recall that?
Yes, yeah. I was when you started talking about, I was thinking of Godzilla versus Kong, where they go to that like inside the Earth Temple with like the weapons, where they get the weapons and stuff. They also recharged him there. Yeah, I forgot about that. They did recharge him with a nuke.
So the point of that is me saying maybe he just like hangs out on the Earth for long periods of time. Maybe he doesn't exclusively pop in and out. You know, maybe he just goes in when he wants and hangs out for as long as he wants. You know what I mean?
Clearly, he naps in like in Morocco,
the middle of the desert,
or wherever they like just taking a dirt nap under the Earth.
Like how long would he have been there to be?
That's right. Well, only a year because he just wrecked San Francisco. So like he wrecked San Francisco, then like maybe portal hopped and was like, "This looks good enough, nice and warm."
I'm really tired. I'm just gonna
like
collapse.
Yeah.
Get some sunbathing.
I mean, that could explain. I don't know. I can't think too far into it, but yeah, I don't think he like exclusively lives in the Axis Mundi or the Hollow Earth. I think the Hollow Earth in Godzilla vs. Kong was explained that like that's kind of where like the Kong species reigned, you know.
Yes.
So I don't think he was in that area, but I haven't seen that movie in
Did
several
they
years. So
did they
could be
explain
a little
how
hazy on
big
there.
this place is?
Axis Mundi or Hollow Earth?
Either.
I'm not convinced those are the same place, but they are the same
No,
place.
they're in like I think Mundy
Like-
is like the in between
Okay.
Yeah.
place, like
And that's why
on the
it's like
way.
parts of one, and she was like a patchwork, kind of like, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And I think that's interesting too, because I also think about Pacific Rim, and like it was, that was set up as like space kaiju, right? Coming from like an alien race sending kaiju to the Earth to conquer them. But very similar concept. Right? They're just kind of traveling through portals.
But isn't that what Ghidorah is in this universe? Isn't
it
he
is an
from
alien.
space?
Yeah.
So they're just like everything. They
Yeah,
come from
yeah.
everywhere.
It's really tricky to string together. You can't think about it too much.
But it's
yeah,
also
Godzilla
really cool.
Godzilla definitely likes this, has dominion over the Earth, the
Yeah.
surface. He likes it up there. Nice weather, nice big oceans.
Yeah.
He's got it all.
But he seems to like clearly, maybe right, because they turn on the gamma ray emitter. He's like, "What are they doing now?" And he like goes right there because he's like, "I'm not trying to have like douchebag kaiju come to my place. So like stop making these gamma ray things." And he's like, it makes him angry. So
It's
he's
not like he
"Stop,
can
humans."
he can't express himself because he can't
Yeah.
speak. He
He's
just
like a
has to
toddler.
destroy.
Yeah.
Wow,
Just
that's
a
very accurate.
nuclear dinosaur lizard toddler.
I mean, that's what every toddler wishes they were. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
That's what they act like.
They act like.
they like charge up too, like
Yeah.
before they go in rage. They just
Dude.
destroy.
Okay, I know this is not part of that universe, but Godzilla -1, when that Godzilla charges up, dude, what happens to its little like spine fins?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it is the coolest thing. It literally is so satisfying.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys need to watch that movie.
I
It's so
want
good.
to see it. Yeah.
It's so good. But yeah, so I think overall is like a really excellent series and kind of blew my expectations for it out of the water
for
because
sure.
I was just like, all right, cool. Like I'm excited to see more just kaiju stuff.
Yeah.
But then it actually like ended up having a really cool story, and the use of the dual story that then became like also one story with the use of the time distortion and stuff was really, really cool. And all of the tie-ins were amazing. As of right now, there's no news on a second season, but I was looking at an article with Apple's track record. They typically are the opposite of Netflix. They don't cancel a show after one season. And like Severance, it took. Okay, it's right here. They didn't get the official season 2 renewal until about 4 months after the first season ended. So they kind of like take their time with these, but also it's not usual for them to just be like, yeah, we're not gonna at least try a second season. And by all accounts, this show seemed to be pretty successful and well received, I think.
7 out of 10 on IMDb.
I would be shocked if there wasn't a second season, is kind of where I'm going. Do you guys see a second season continuation of this?
I see maybe a second season in essence, but maybe not like exact name,
Like,
because I feel like they're going to drop like some movies and then fill in. Because I could easily see them say, all right, whatever, all these yahoos where we leave them, like, let's just skip what happens to them until it ties into the next thing. So like maybe Kate dies, right, over the course of the next 2 movies. And then, you know what I mean? Then we have like more evolved Kentaro, and maybe like he's working with his grandma a ton and like the dad died. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't think they're gonna like just straight up have like a verbatim season 2 picking up where we left off. Maybe.
Yeah.
But I think it would be cool because they already have a movie planned coming this year.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't make too much sense to continue to do like backfill behind, because they're really only at 2017 which is
Right.
right at
Right.
the end of the second Skull Kong, where they have the installation built, and he's like a pet, and they
So that would
that's
be
Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah. So they're at the point right now leading up to Godzilla vs. Kong.
Yes.
So yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking is not a direct like continuation of the story we just got, but like same characters a couple years down the road.
New
Like
circumstances.
maybe between Godzilla vs. Kong and Godzilla X Kong. They really should have, thought about that whole branding there.
Well, it's a multiply. Put them together as a team
Yeah.
up.
Well,
Fighting bad chimps.
Angry monkeys.
Angry monkeys.
Yeah.
Sidebar.
Or do they just do our favorite idea for every series? Anthology.
Anthology. Dump these fools. Get us. Keep
Yes.
Tim. Keep Dominique.
Yep.
I don't know. She might not survive after Godzilla vs. Kong because Apex. I don't know what happened. We'll find out what happens to Apex after their fiasco with Godzilla.
Well, that's the thing. She isn't even the director of Apex. The director is the guy.
Yeah.
I think does he make an appearance on screen in the show?
I think she was just talking to him.
Okay, well, he has like on-screen role in Godzilla vs. Kong. And never mind, I won't spoil. it.
Are you Dad's gonna watch all these movies?
So what happens after this is Godzilla versus Kong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
so Apex. Are you just kind of like present? Like, have you seen nothing after this? Basically, you've seen a Godzilla, right? And Skull Island.
Yeah,
but not King of Monsters and not versus Kong.
Correct.
That's about perfect then.
Man,
I think he's just parked right at. This is where the show ended. Is like the furthest in the timeline linearly.
Yeah. So you essentially were in order. You were in the Axis Mundi with them while King of Monsters happened.
Gotcha.
So you missed exactly what Kate missed. So you come out and you're like, oh my gosh, what? You mean there was a war between Godzilla and all these Titans? Oh my gosh, that's crazy. And then like a week later, you're like, oh my gosh, Godzilla's fighting King Kong and oh, what is happening? Yeah, you need to watch those movies, dude. They're so good.
All right, I will.
And I will quit saying what I was going to say.
Dude, I just remembered Kong when he's on like the aircraft carrier or whatever. That is so insane.
Such a good scene. It is so epic.
Anyway,
sidebar. I think as soon as we get off here, I'm just going to rewatch all of those movies. So now you're going to sleep tonight. Just gonna.
That's all I want to do. Sidebar. So, if you have PlayStation 5, you get 3 free months of Apple Plus, by the way. So redeem that. Glad I started all that on my PlayStation 5. So that's good. I have 3 free months, but I'll probably keep going. But so what we're kind of realizing with only my awareness of Apple Plus shows through you all, and also just like from the abundance of advertising, because they're pretty well received shows. They get awards and all that fun stuff. Apple TV, and we started watching the morning show with Jennifer Aniston and like a ton of other people. Tim is in it, by the way, from this show.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah. And then I almost thought Kate's ex-girlfriend from San Francisco from like D-Day or G-Day or whatever was in it, but unconfirmed.
Love the name of G-Day. Like that's so awesome.
Godzilla Day. D-Day, really good. G-Day, not so good. Both amphibious assaults. But so what I'm pegging Apple TV as is like, and this is also on brand for this show, is they make good like what used to be on TV, like primetime TV. They make good primetime TV shows. Because like to me, Netflix has a certain flavor, and like it's just pretty hit or miss, right?
Yeah.
And HBO has a brand, but I really think Apple TV has like the brand of we are gonna make what like everybody wants to watch on TV, but on our platform because TV sucks, right? All those shows. Because
Yeah.
it has those like even
They
this
have
show
like
had the
Ted
campy.
Lasso.
Yeah,
like
but
a
like it has
perfect
the
show like you're describing.
yeah, and this show had like the right amount of like campy TV trope to keep it going from episode to episode. And I think that's like what they're going for because that's like what.
But they also have like bangers like Severance and like that
Sure.
Blackbird show that Chad talks about.
Yeah.
They like there's a lot of good stuff on Apple.
For Mankind's next.
Yeah. Same.
Oh
Our
yeah, I
brother's
want to.
talking
I want
about
to see that.
I mean, no spoilers, but it isn't really a spoiler because I haven't seen it, and I don't think it's spoiled for me. But it's 3 seasons. One, I didn't realize how many seasons of everything there is for the Apple Plus series. Like everything has like many seasons. But it's advertised. I'm like, is this just like the first season? Anyways, where For All Mankind is at, or maybe it ends with season 3, is like a couple hundred years, same premise, but where the Expanse picks up, because it's like they're
like colonizing Mars.
Yeah, there's Mars, there's Earth, and like trade agreements and like all that stuff, but just more just in the near future versus the Expanse is like.
So it's a prequel to the Expanse.
It seemed not actually, but without
that would be amazing.
There's enough
theory,
time where you could pretend it was.
Yeah.
Right.
Because there would be no character overlap and
the
Expanse, Which I was like, oh yeah, well if that's the case,
I need more Expanse.
Yeah,
I think we're getting more in the next 5 years. There's going to be something.
So while you guys were talking, I was looking where we can stream the movies.
It's a mixed bag, isn't it?
Yeah, really. Godzilla vs. Kong is on Max, and all the other ones are just like you can rent it. Maybe if you have Hulu, you might be able to watch it there.
Didn't we talk about how Max like was delisting a ton of their stuff for like tax reasons and stuff? Sometime somewhere they did all that.
Mm-hmm.
You can definitely tell because Netflix has a ton of Max shows on it, like Max movies, things that were exclusive at Max. Or there's a ton of stuff on Netflix right now that was there. So basically, they sold the stream rights off for a ton of stuff. But I think that's what I'm confused is like Monarch is an Apple show, but I thought this MonsterVerse was more of a Max thing, but it's a Universal thing. But Universal and who merged?
I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Rip the newscast.
But Godzilla vs. Kong was that was not the first, but early on, I think during no, not early on. It might have been like right in the middle of COVID, right? So that was when Max was still doing the like dual release thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I was also looking where I can stream -1, and Google doesn't tell me.
I don't think you can yet.
Is it still in theaters?
Maybe.
That would be wild. Because it came to North America on December 1st. Anyways. So yeah. Does this show, Jeff, get you excited to get into the MonsterVerse and specifically get you excited to see the new Godzilla multiplied by Kong movie that's coming in a couple months?
Multiplied by Kong. Yes, it does. Yeah. I love the beginning. I was going to mention this earlier. When Goodman is running through the woods, and then you by the spider, which was terrifying. I wanted to shut it off right away, but then the huge rock crab busts out and they start fighting. That was that was really, really cool to see. I want to see more monster fights, not just monsters terrorizing.
King of the Monsters is a good movie then for you.
I do like the good fighting, as long as it looks good.
Actually, Godzilla 2014 is the only one that really isn't. Well, never mind. They all have monster fights, but they're all ramping up for sure.
I do love a good monster fight.
Titan. Let's not call it Titanverse. Can we call it Titanverse?
I like the Titanverse, but they're not. They
kaiju.
They kind of call them Mudos.
Mudos, yeah, that's right. Massive, unidentified,
the Mudo
organisms or something like that.
The Mudoverse.
Yeah. Lots of good little conversations in the show because, like, when they said that they're like terrestrial or like domestic, like planet grown, they're like, yeah, so not aliens, correct?
What?
Yeah. All right. I mean, do you guys have anything else you want to say about this? I think I'm monarched out in terms of what to talk about. I could watch it again, and I really do want to go watch like 2014 or King of the Monsters.
Oh, really annoying part of this show when they're going through San Francisco at night trying to not get caught. They are very angsty kids, just stumble like they're toddlers going through a China cat. Like, what are you guys doing? Turn your flashlights off, for one.
Kentaro's like, we gotta follow the cats.
Campy TV right there.
Yep, not good. Not good.
I was like pretty zoned out for that part, which should have been really cool, but
yeah, they made up for it with the light, Kentaro light.
Yeah.
So Jeff, you had messaged me something about bad acting.
Yeah.
Who, where, why, when?
The teens or the group of young kids. But then I kind of like, the more I thought about it, I'm thinking because I'm getting older. I'm officially the old man who hates all young kids.
They're so young, carefree.
You freaking angsty kids. Shut up and stop.
Their biggest problem in life is lack of a father. Whoop-de. No, I'm kidding.
Get over it.
Yeah, come on, guys. Everyone else has the same problem.
What do you mean you just found out that your dad had a secret family living across the world? Like, big deal.
I still
Everyone's
don't know.
Doing it.
Like, especially once they go to his office, like, come on, like, read some of that crap. Like,
seriously.
Or you just think your dad's like some baddie nut job? I don't know.
Like, okay,
I'd really have to project myself into that situation, but I don't know.
Okay, I totally understand that he is like literal scum of the earth, but like also Godzilla exists and it's like rampaging around. And your dad, by the way, is working for the organization that's trying to figure out what's going on. Maybe cut him some slack and like
you got
get on board.
You got to pick your battles.
Yeah,
you stupid kids.
Yeah.
There were some.
The Alaska thing was not cool either, and I didn't even like anything really about the Alaska. The whole walking, like, what are you guys doing? You're not walking anywhere in Alaska. And Shaw, of all people, is like, let's go northwest because the coast is that way. I'm like, dude, I'm pretty sure you're in the middle of Alaska by the map that you showed me, which is easily 1,000 miles from the coast. You're not walking.
Yeah, you'll die in like 12 hours.
You're all dead.
You're all dead.
Especially May, who's soaking wet, by the way.
Dude, yeah.
She should have died there.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's TV.
Whatever.
I like the reunion at the end with Keiko and Hiroshi.
That was touching.
I'm very interested now that they're essentially saved by Apex. Like, is Hiroshi now and Tim working for Apex and are now they on the bad team? Like, what's going on there? Kentaro, what you doing, dude? You're laying in bed with the enemy. Like,
yeah.
But here's the thing, they don't really know they're the enemy. They're really just another player in town because they all have equal problems with Monarch. So, they're kind of like, we're getting what we want done one way or the other. There's only like two options, and
The
like
lesser
one
of
said
two
no.
evils.
Lesser
yeah,
of
but if
just
they
evil.
only knew,
They don't
like,
know
would
that.
it be less? I don't know. Might
Yeah.
have been greater. You're gonna have to watch that movie, Jeff.
And I think Tim knows too. He's like, it's complicated. He's like,
Yeah.
you could tell Tim knows. Tim knows what's up, and he's like,
He's
not our best
he's a real
choice.
dude, you know.
Yeah, he's like, not our best choice, but Kentaro really needs to find his family.
Right. Hey, by the way, we saved you, so deal with it.
That's the other thing. Like, I'm sure they're probably in some sort of weird contract situation too.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So great show. I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm excited for the new movie. That when's that come out? Let's see.
April, I think, if I remember correctly.
The New Empire. Release date March 29th. So essentially April.
Nice.
2 months. What? 2.5 months, maybe?
I don't know. That movie looks sus.
Seriously?
They have to be careful. They're moving to weird territory.
Yeah, I guess when you're talking about like civilizations and this weird like middle ground between the Hollow Earth and
Yeah.
top side.
Yeah, there's just like a lot of like, we don't know it till we need to know it kind of thing. Like Kong just be living down there, and then all of a sudden, ooh, chimp empire, giant chimp empire. So it's like, I don't want it to feel like Planet of the Apes. Because then also we get the weird macro shot of like Godzilla and Kong running through the Hollow Earth, and they look just normal sized. Like, I don't want to also lose the size of the monsters, because like
the
that's very
Titan
important.
aspect of
The
the Titans.
Titan aspect.
That's the whole.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, not a problem, and I like that they're exploring like this like deeper meta about them,
Literally.
but at the same time, I don't want it to feel like a superhero movie. And the
I get
superheroes
that.
are Kong and Godzilla.
Yeah.
That's
can
what
see
this
that.
looks like.
But I'm still here for it because
Oh yeah, for sure.
Godzilla.
Whatever.
So I'm definitely gonna watch it. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Let us know what you think about Monarch Legacy of Monsters. Drop a comment or head over to our Discord, link in the description below. Make sure you subscribe. We're still trying to give away stuff. So subscribe if you like what we're doing, and maybe we'll give away things. What do we have coming next week? I believe is finally our 2024 gaming goals, which will be nice. And then we're cooking something up, in the content kitchen, so to speak, for March. So if you liked last year's March episode schedule, you will probably want to tune in for this March. More details come soon. Yeah. You guys have anything else you want to say? We're gonna
Spoilers. Cool Russian chick died. Rip.
Cool
Tim's
Russian.
friend. From Monarch. The show.
His
I thought
partner.
she was French.
Was she French?
I don't know.
European.
Probably.
Let's just
She
blanket
was-
European.
Yeah.
He was across the sea somewhere.
Yeah.
Over the pond.
Over the pond.
One of the participants in World War II. D-Day and G-Day.
Herself, yes.
Herself.
All right. See you guys.
Where's your mic at? Like under your seat?
It sounds like Jeff's calling in from his phone.
That's it? Oh my gosh.
He's strangling his mic.
What was that?
How about-
Was you hit a
How
button?
about that?
It's a little different.
Better? Or
Sounds like
worse?
you're talking to us through a wall.
gosh.
A very thin wall, granted. Like,
Yeah.
How about now?
Yeah, that's better.
there
Yeah.
he is.
Back to normal.